Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to teach you how to make my egg Foo Young. Now I love it, but I can't seem to find any good egg Foo Young in El Paso. So when I can't find it, I learn how to cook it. The first time I made this dish for my family, my husband said, "Baby, you must be part Chinese." So it's one of the most requested dishes in my home, and hopefully you'll learn how to make it and you'll love it just as much as I do. So let's go in the kitchen and make some egg Foo Young. Okay, so for those of you who aren't really sure what egg Foo Young is, it's just an omelet. It's a Chinese omelet. And I guess what makes it a Chinese omelet is because you infuse those Asian flavors like oyster sauce, soy sauce. I even use a little sake in my egg Foo Young. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna make a chicken egg Foo Young today, but first I need to get this hair off of my neck because it gets hot in the kitchen and I don't want hair in my food. So let's get started and let's go ahead and make this egg Foo Young. I'm going to start chopping my vegetables. So I'm starting with white onion and red bell pepper. Now you can use yellow onion or whatever color bell pepper you like. I just prefer white onion and red bell pepper. Remember, egg Foo Young is an omelet, so you can add whatever veggies and whatever protein you like, but today these are the ingredients I'm going to use. I'm also going to add some mushroom, and I like portobello, baby bella mushrooms, so I'm using some baby bellas, but you could also use just white cap mushrooms. That's fine as well. The other ingredient is chicken. I'm making chicken egg Foo Young today, so I just bought a roasted chicken, pulled all the skin off, and pulled the chicken off the bone, and I'm just going to give it a good chop. I'm going to add a little garnish at the end of green onion, and I want to use a little bit of the white and a little bit of the green, so I'm just going to give this a little fine chop, and that's it for chopping my veggies. So this is everything I'm going to put in my egg Foo Young. I have my eggs, about 8 eggs I'm going to use today. That'll make 8 or 9 patties. I have my bean sprouts. I love bean sprouts in my egg Foo Young. I have my chicken, my green onion, my bella mushrooms, and my red pepper. So I'm adding a little peanut oil to a skillet, and I'm going to start sauteing my vegetables. I don't want my vegetables to be crunchy when I bite into the egg Foo Young, so I like to give them a little bit of heat before I add them to my egg mixture. So I'm adding my onions and bell peppers first and letting them get soft before I add my other ingredients. Now that my onions and bell peppers have had time to cook, they're translucent. I can see that they've softened up. So now I'm going to add my mushroom. Now I don't add the mushroom until last because mushrooms don't take a lot of time, and although I want them soft, I don't want them soggy. So they make a lot of water on their own, and I'm just going to mix them into my bell pepper and onion and put a lid on and let it cook for a few minutes. Now I have a clean chopping board here, and what I like to do is take all of my veggies out of the skillet, place them on the chopping board, and then I kind of spread them out and give them a chance to cool because I don't want to add hot vegetables into my egg mixture. So I want to just kind of spread them out on the board and let them sit for a few minutes and cool. Now in the same skillet that I cooked the other vegetables, I'm going to add my bean sprouts. I don't really need to add any water or anything to my bean sprouts. There's still some moisture from the other vegetables, and bean sprouts kind of make their own water as well. So I'm just going to give them a really good stir and put a lid on and let them sit and steam until they're soft. Now because my bean sprouts do take a little bit longer than the other vegetables because they're a little more firm, midway I like to give them a little bit of a stir just to get them mixed up, and then I'm going to place the lid back on top and let them steam some more. Now that my bean sprouts are done, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just take them and place them on the cutting board and spread them out again just like the other veggies. I want them to cool. You don't want to put piping hot vegetables into an egg mixture. Those eggs will start cooking and you don't want that. So I'm just going to spread them out here and let them cool off. While my veggies are cooling, I'm going to start cracking my eggs. And again, I'm going to use 8 eggs today. I'm going to make about 8 or 9 patties. I like to make quite a few patties because I send some to my daughter. Now I'm just going to start adding my seasonings. I've got some garlic powder here, some onion powder. I don't season my veggies because I put all the seasoning in my egg mixture. I'm also going to add some white pepper. You can use black pepper if you want, but for some reason I just like white pepper in my egg Foo Young. And then I'm going to add some sake. I really like the flavor that the sake gives the egg Foo Young. I don't think it's something you actually have to use, but I think you would like the flavor if you gave it a try. So I add sake, and then I'm going to add some soy sauce, and that's it for my seasonings. So now we just want to give all of these flavors a good whisk. I want to mix all of this up and then start adding my veggies. So I'm going to take all of the vegetables that I cooked. I'm not leaving anything behind. And again, I used a whole bell pepper, a whole onion, and a bag of bean sprouts. I like my egg Foo Young to be chunky. I don't want it runny and watery. And if you don't add enough veggies and protein, that's what'll happen. So the last thing I'm gonna add to this is my chicken. I'm gonna add the chicken, and then we're gonna get this all mixed up. And we are almost ready to start frying these egg Foo Young patties. So while I'm mixing all of this together, I've got my skillet on the stove. I've got a large skillet, and I've placed some peanut oil in it, and we're ready to start frying these babies up. So my oil is nice and hot, and I just take my bowl over and I use a ladle to make my patties. So just one full scoop from the ladle, and I get a perfect size egg Foo Young patty. They're all the same size, and just want to make sure that your oil is nice and hot. And this large skillet, I do about 3 patties at a time. I could probably fit 4, but I don't want to overcrowd them. And this is the perfect size for 3 patties. So here we go. Now the key to cooking egg Foo Young patties is while the bottom is cooking, you need to cook the top. So I just tilt the skillet and scoop the oil into my spoon and pour it on the patties. That's a little tedious, it takes a little time, but you want that top to be cooked when it's time for you to flip those patties. And so I really take my time. I don't mind. Some people might think, oh my God, this is so tedious, but you really want to make sure that that top is cooking so that when you flip it, your patties don't totally fall apart. So I just take my time, scoop the oil, and just keep scooping and pouring it on top until it's time to flip. When it comes time to flip my patties, I use a spatula and a large spoon. I want to take my time. I don't want to just flip them over because they are delicate, and that's it. Oh my God, look at that color. That color is perfect. I don't want them too dark, I don't want them too light, but that color is just right. My daughter's gonna be so happy. I always make extra to send to her at her apartment, and yeah, these are perfect. So my patties are doing great, and while they're cooking, I'm gonna get started on my gravy. Now to make my gravy, I use beef broth. Now I know I'm making chicken egg Foo Young, but I just prefer the flavor of the beef. So I'm adding a little bit of onion powder and some soy sauce. Now I don't need to add any other sodium to my patties or to my sauce because they already have a lot of sodium in them, in the broth and the soy sauce. And then lastly, I'm adding my oyster sauce. Now oyster sauce, I guess you can add as much as you like, but when I put it in, if I don't smell it, I need to smell the oyster sauce. If I don't smell it, then that means it's not enough for me, and I add some more. Now I had already opened this bottle for another batch of egg Foo Young, so I probably used about 1/3 of this bottle in my gravy. And yeah, so once it starts boiling, then I'm just gonna make a mixture of cornstarch and water to thicken my gravy. So I just mix that up really good. And after it's kind of creamy, then I start adding it to the boiling gravy. And I'm just gonna whisk it in slowly. You just wanna take your time. You don't wanna just dump it in. You need to just kind of pour it in slowly and whisk it as you pour it in until it starts to thicken up. Now, I don't usually need too much, but it depends on how thick you like your gravy. And for my egg Foo Young, it doesn't need to be really thick, but I do add, I used about 2 tablespoons of the cornstarch and just a little bit of water. So I think this is pretty good, and it's thickening up already. And I think we're ready to eat, you guys. So I just made some simple brown and wild rice and placed my beautiful egg patty on top. And oh my God, this looks so good. And then I'm just gonna give it a drizzle of that delicious gravy that I made. You can add as little or as much as you like. Now I have a spoon with some soy sauce there, but I don't typically add my soy sauce until after I've tasted it, because I did put soy sauce in the gravy and in the egg mixture, and all I need now is some chopsticks so I can try it out. Okay, and I had a little bit of that sake left, so you know what? I gotta have a taste. I love me some sake, hot or cold. Cheers! And that's it, you guys. That's my egg Foo Young. I've tried many restaurants, and I have to say, mine is right up there with them. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And please follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest at Simply Ormandy. Ciao!